the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. I want to talk about Jauan Jennings in this episode because I think Jauan is underappreciated by many. And I think a lot of people really do like Jauan Jennings and they like what he adds to this 49ers roster. But I'm not sure they understand exactly how important he is to what Kyle Shanahan does in his offense. I think a lot of people think he just converts on third down. He's a third wide receiver. He doesn't play that many snaps. So what are we really talking about here? I've started to hear people talk about Ronnie Bell replacing Jauan Jennings in 2023, with Jennings not even making the roster, maybe getting traded away. To me, that's some crazy stuff. Jauan Jennings is so important to this 49ers roster. I like him a lot. Do I think it's going to be harder and harder to keep him as time goes by? Yes, he's got 2 accrued seasons right now, 2021, 2022, but he's gotten better in each season that he's been with the 49ers. Now, of course, he was drafted in 2020 as a 7th-round pick. He made the practice squad that year. 49ers did not keep him on the active roster, and then he was doing really well in practice and was getting close to coming up, according to what Kyle Shanahan had to say, and then he tore his hamstring from the bone. That was an extreme hamstring pull, and he was done for the year. So unfortunately, he never got to make an impact in 2020. But in 2021, he came on the scene like gangbusters. And everything people say about him on third down is absolutely correct. He's third and Jauan for a reason, because he makes those critical catches. And that was something the 49ers had to replace in 2021 when Kendrick Bourne went to greener pastures and ended up with the New England Patriots. Needed to make sure you had a guy that could get those big-time conversions, and Jauan Jennings was that guy. Not only was he that guy, but he's an absolute dog. He goes out and he makes all kinds of plays. He creates separation even though he's not fast. He's got an innate ability to get away from defenders and get enough space to make plays. The way he runs his routes is different than anyone else that's on the football team. He can get up to the top of his stem and break out and just get separation that most would not be able to. So Jauan Jennings is a very important player for the 49ers as far as catching the football. He's also extremely important as far as running the football, because Jauan Jennings is a heck of a blocker. You want to go through and watch, you could see all kinds of plays during the 2022 season where Jauan Jennings makes a pivotal block. You go back and you just see him making that key block that sets someone off, that helps Christian McCaffrey get down the sideline or helps Deebo Samuel break for a touchdown. Jauan Jennings does so much more than what I think is even seen by most. Jennings is a fun player. He has the stats. His numbers are getting better every single year. Let's go through his stats just to kind of get an idea. In both 2021 and 2022, he played in 16 games. He started 4 games in 2022, but he caught an extra nearly 20 balls, 18 pass difference from 2021 to 2022. He had, he was targeted more, 18 more times. He had 11 more catches, and he had 416 yards receiving, which is a career best, where in 2021 he had 282. His yards per reception went up from 11.8 to 11.9. The number that went down was he had 5 touchdowns in 2021. That went down to 1, which not a huge fan of. But of those 35 receptions that he had on the year, 23 of them resulted in first downs. So all but 12 of his catches resulted in first downs for Jauan Jennings. It's a crazy stat. He had a 44-yard play as well. So to me, Jauan Jennings is a guy that is definitely important for this 49ers team in the passing game, but also in the run game, like we talked about. And why? Because of the matchups. And I think sometimes people don't appreciate the type of matchup problem he develops. By putting him in the slot, he goes against a lot of smaller nickel corners that he ends up being able to block. But also the way Kyle Shanahan and Chris Foerster draw up their run game, he's able to take on defensive ends. Of course, you don't want to do that too much, but you come in with a little crack block and you can make sure you catch him off guard and make a play. You can get on linebackers. He's big enough to battle with those guys. And how many times have you seen him set the tone for a game with his attitude? That's one thing I love about Jauan Jennings. All of a sudden you see a runs happening over here. You look over and Jennings is on the field and on the ground with another cornerback and they're going at it, or a safety, and they're pushing him and they're yelling at him and he's smiling and he's getting under their skin because every single play he competes. He competes even harder in the run game than he does in the pass. That's what I love about Jauan Jennings. He gives the 49ers offense an attitude, a grit about him. Those are the type of guys you need on your roster. They do a little bit extra. They do a little bit more. They work hard. They make everyone around them better. And that's what Jauan Jennings does for this team. I think a lot of times you see that he doesn't have huge stats, and automatically you think, well, we can get another wide receiver to do those things. But do we really have another wide receiver that can handle those responsibilities? He's big, he's physical, he gets open, he makes clutch catches. I don't know if there's a guy on this roster that could fill the role of Jauan Jennings. I think they want to. I think they're hoping to find that guy. Do I think Ronnie Bell's someone they could develop in the pass game to take care of the things Jauan does in pass? Yes. Will he be able to do it for the run? No. I don't think he can. Hey, Martin, can he be that guy? No. He's not physical enough to be Jauan Jennings. So what do the 49ers resort to? Potentially developing a guy like Cameron Latu. Now, he's big enough, physical enough to handle those situations. But when Cameron Latu's on the field, other teams are going to go to their base 4-3 set, which means you lose the advantage of getting a nickel corner on the field at times. Now, we've seen a change in the NFL, and some of these nickel corners are getting bigger. Maybe in those scenarios, you want to keep a base 4-3 linebacker on the field because he's just not as good in the run defense as maybe a bigger nickel is against Jauan Jennings. But now you have those options. But Jennings is the one that affords you those options. His value in getting first downs is through the charts. His value in run blocking is hard to measure. So I love Jauan Jennings on this team. I don't think there's any chance Jauan Jennings is not on the 2023 roster. He's going to make an impact. He's one of those guys that makes an impact whether he has the ball in his hands or not. These guys are hard to come by. A lot of times you see those players that don't have the ball in their hands kind of taking it easy on the other side of the field. Kind of jogging, maybe doing enough. Oh, plays going to the other side. Let me just push this guy a little bit. Not Jauan. Every single play, he's setting a tone. Every single play, he's making sure he's trying to do the right thing. Does he make mistakes? Of course. Does he sometimes drop the football when he should catch it? Yes. I mean, he's got a 62.5% catch percentage. Could be better. It went down 1% from 2021. But I think he had more contested catch opportunities because he had more targets in 2022 than did in 2021. I think Kyle Shanahan's a master of knowing how to use these players and how to put them in the right situations to use their skill set. One of those skill sets that Jauan Jennings maintains is mismatches. So you want to continue to use him in those categories. And watch him. You'll see him do all sorts of things. He's not just in the slot, out there stock blocking a nickel corner or coming down and cracking a linebacker. He's also a lead blocker. They'll put him in motion. They'll run a sweep to the left and he'll go kick somebody out, or he'll help an offensive tackle or tight end get a little bit of movement on a defensive end to create a lane to be able to run through. How many wide receivers in this league can do those types of things, that play with that kind of grit and physicality, and then still have the ability to go catch a big third down catch and move the sticks? 3rd and 14, no problem. 3rd and Jauan, he's going to get it. I think Jauan Jennings is underappreciated. And I think that at some point, everyone's going to understand his value, because if the 49ers can't replace him, then you're going to really start to see it. Right now, they can potentially replace him on some reps with a guy like Cameron Latu. But I think it would take Cameron Latu and Ronnie Bell to replace what Jauan Jennings does as himself. Position versatility is so important for the 49ers. They have irreplaceable players. Yeah, you can put a guy in there and get a little bit of stats here and there, but getting the actual stats you would get from that one guy, I don't know. As all these players were having really big years, George Kittle was having a standout year. Brandon Ayuk had the best year of his career. Quietly, Jauan Jennings had the best year of his career as well. With added weapons comes more opportunity for Jauan. 2021 NFC Championship game, 2021 Week 18, he had a lot of plays that he made in that game. Focused on Debo, you're focused on Ayuk, you're probably not focused on Jauan. You're focused on Debo, you're focused on Christian McCaffrey, you're focused on Brandon, you're focusing on George Kittle. Who's focusing on Jauan? Getting those matchup problems could be huge for the 49ers. And Jauan Jennings is going to make an impact in 2023. Super excited about Jauan Jennings and hoping that everyone continues to give him the love that he deserves, because he does not deserve to be underappreciated. I don't think the team does. I think the team really appreciates him. I just think sometimes casual fans don't exactly understand what all he brings to this team. I think they see the third down catches, and I know they know that's important, but all the attitude he brings, the grittiness, the blocking in the run game, the mismatches by getting a third receiver on the field, him mismatching and consistently winning against nickel corners and blocking linebackers and sealing them, it's tremendous. Jauan Jennings is tremendous talent. Very excited the 49ers have him on the roster, and with this top three of the wide receiver room, the 49ers got to feel really confident no matter who the quarterback is, that they're going to have plays made down the field. And Jauan is an honorary member of that yak attack, because when he catches the football, he gets some extra yards every single time, whether it's he's open or he just gets to a brute physicality, which I really like. So hopefully Jauan has another big year, takes another step forward. He deserves it. He's a good player, and I know the 49ers really count on him. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, on the push for 4K. Looking forward to more content coming your way. Thank you so much for watching. But until the next time, stay safe and remember, the right way is always the 49ers.